Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Julie and today we are working on a house project. We are going to be working on my breakfast nook. It is right next to the kitchen, living room, and dining room. And you can see it from almost every entryway in the house, and it is very embarrassing looking right now. So I have got to get it finished up. I started working on it a few months ago when I did the dining room and just never got back to it. So I started putting up the shiplap. I've painted the molding and I took down the chair rail. That was both glued and nailed to the wall. So that made a whole mess taking it down. But it is okay, we are going to fix that. I'm going to be shiplapping this entire wall. It's going to hide any issues with the drywall and also just give lots of character to this space. I would love to be able to make this space a very cozy sitting area with some big comfy chairs, but that is not in the budget. So we are going to be using stuff that I have around the house already and try to make this project as free as possible. So there's going to be lots of DIYs, but first we need to take care of the walls. So let's get working on that. To create this faux shiplap look on the walls, we are going to be using 5mm underlayment. You can purchase it at the hardware store. It comes in an 8-foot by 4-foot sheet. And the last time I purchased it, it was $21 a board. It ended up taking me 3 boards to do this area. So it is very cost efficient and adds so much character to the space. And the great thing about it coming in 8-foot by 4-foot boards is that you can cut it down to whatever size you want. So I cut these boards down to 6 inches wide. Now, back in the day when I started using this product to create faux shiplap, I could get the hardware store to cut it to the exact size that I needed. They no longer do that, but they will cut it one time. So what I do is I get them to cut the 8-foot boards in half. That way they're easier for me to handle and also much easier to get in my car. Another reason I love using the 5mm underlayment is that if you have a pre-existing house like me, it is so thin that you don't need to remove the moldings or the electrical or anything like that. It fits perfectly on the wall and looks seamless. If you go with a thicker product, you would have to remove your moldings and then put them back on just for it to look good. I always start at the top of the wall and work my way down. That way, if you have a smaller cutoff at the end, it's at the bottom and not at the top and much less noticeable. I do not measure my spaces. I just eyeball it, and that has worked fine for me. And I like a much thicker space in between my boards, because if you put them too close together, then you don't even really notice the crack from far away. And to me, that is the whole point of doing this look, is to be able to see that shiplapping effect. It is also a lot easier to paint if you have a thicker crack. So keep that in mind as well. As you can see, I have not pulled out a tape measure. I hang this entire wall without measuring anything with a tape measure and it comes out perfectly accurate. I just put my board up on the wall and then measure it that way. Now, when you mark your board, you want to make sure to put a little X on the side that you are going to be cutting off, because trust me, by the time that you walk to your tool, you're gonna forget what side needs to be cut off. I am using my Ryobi battery operated brad nailer and 1 1/4 inch brad nails. That is sufficient to keep this up on the wall. You saw the damage that adding wood glue or any kind of glue does to the wall, and this product is so light. All you need is a few brad nails to keep it in place. I do mark the studs before I get started. So on my first pieces near the ceiling, I have a little arrow to show me exactly where the studs are. That way I get a few nails into the studs, and like I said, that is sufficient. You do not need wood glue. It's going to destroy your walls if you ever decide to pull this stuff off. You can definitely add moldings around your windows, but I do not want to do that. So I'm just making sure I have nice, clean lines around my windows. And instead of having to jigsaw out around the windows, I simply just cut a board, at each side of the window, and then I cut a board to the size that I need at the top of the window. And then I'll just caulk in these cracks so it'll look like one seamless board right here. And it's just so much easier to do this than to try to use your jigsaw and create nice straight lines. For the outlets and the light switches, it's pretty simple. Just remember, whenever you're around electricity, be extra careful. But you just need to unscrew the cover, and then you're going to actually unscrew the outlet. That way you can push it off the wall a little bit. And then I like to make cuts on my wood either before or after where the outlet ends. That way it's much easier to cut out your piece of wood instead of having to cut a hole in the middle of your wood, just like we did on the windows. It's just much simpler when you make your cuts this way. And then you're just going to slide your piece of wood behind the outlet and then screw it back in. And the cover should fit perfectly back on top, and it will look like this faux shiplap was always in your home. To go around the moldings on the window, I made my own template using index cards. They do have a tool to do this. It's just at my home in Louisiana, so I just made do with what I had. And this actually worked perfectly, and I was able to use it on every single window, and it worked out great. I simply just traced it on to my board and then cut it out with my jigsaw. It doesn't need to be exactly perfect. You just want to get it as close as possible, and then you can use caulk to fill in the cracks. I like to use this paintable caulk to fill in all the cracks that we don't want to see. So not the cracks that we just created on purpose, but the ones at the top of the molding, the bottom of the molding, in the corners and around the windows. And then also, if you want to fill in your nail holes, you can as well. On the edges where the wood meets the drywall, I also caulk that. I do not put a piece of molding there. If you cut your boards nice and even and caulk it, it looks perfectly fine without putting any extra molding up. I'm almost done with the faux shiplap walls. I just have a piece at the bottom and under the window that I need to do, but I'm gonna stop here for now because we need to go shopping before the kids get home from school. I am totally out of paint, so we're gonna head to Lowe's. I like getting my paint over there because they mix all the Sherwin-Williams colors that I love, and the light fixture in this area is making me feel the opposite of happy. So I feel like we should go shopping for a light fixture that makes me happy. I'm thinking we should go to IKEA. I feel like they're gonna have something that I'm going to really love. So let's go shopping. This is a wall paint I like to purchase from Lowe's. It comes out to about $26 a gallon, which is a great price, and this is very good quality paint. This is the 5th 5-gallon bucket I purchased for this home. Okay, now that we got the boring stuff out of the way, let's go have some fun. I'm looking for a light fixture, but we're gonna shop for other stuff too. I love these tea towels at Christmas time. I'm gonna grab a few of them to replace all the blue ones that I have in my house. Okay, if I could have my dream breakfast nook, this is what I want. I love these big cozy chairs. The price is not awful, but it's not free. So it's not in the budget. Maybe at some other point I could have these chairs, but not right now. Oh my gosh, y'all. I think this might be the light. I was just dreaming of a hanging basket in this space, and I knew IKEA would have exactly what I wanted. And look at that price. That is in the budget. I ordered some very inexpensive bedding sets for the kids' beds on Amazon, and I have to say, for the price, I was extremely impressed with the quality of these, and I love the way they look. However, the duvet covers needed some inserts, and I knew that IKEA would have exactly what I needed. These are only $25, so I'm going to pick up a few of these to insert into duvet covers, and I'll link the bedding that I purchased on Amazon in the description below. I've purchased all my rugs for the house on Amazon, so y'all let me know if y'all want to see that, but I haven't found the perfect one for the baby's room. I love the colors in this rug, but it is very scratchy and would not be comfortable to lay on or play on. This one is really cute and very gender neutral. I like the subtle pattern, and it would definitely work in any kid's room. Okay, I think this might be the one. The colors are perfect. It is very soft. It is the right size. I just want something to put in front of her bed. I don't want something that's going to take up the whole room, and the price is right. I think I'm going to take this one. I've been getting all my curtain rods from IKEA. I like these simple end caps. They are only $2. And I like the skinny rods at IKEA. So I need a long rod to put in my living room. However, they were out of stock on the black. They had the thick ones, but I really had my heart set on the thin ones. So they do have the long thin ones in the gray, and it's on sale for $3. So I think I'm just going to pick that up and spray paint it black because I really want the skinny one. Now we are finally to the lighting department so I can see what other lighting options they have. They have this basket one, but I don't care for it. It's just a little bit too rustic for me. I want something a little bit cleaner. I also do not like the shape of this one, and it's more expensive. So I think I'm going to go with the wider, simpler pendant light. I think this is going to be perfect for what I have in mind. And don't forget the hardware that goes with your shade, because I have totally done that before. Ryan told me that she wanted some vintage prints in her room, which just, made me so happy and proud. And these prints at IKEA are perfect. I mean, these are the exact colors we have going on in her room. And it is a set of 4 prints for $6. That is such a great price. IKEA has such a great selection of faux plants at a great price. Ryan wanted some greenery for her room to put on her shelves that kind of hang down. I think these are new. I've never seen them before. I think these would be perfect in her room, and they are only $5. I think I'm going to grab 3 of these for her room. However, I will be thrifting or DIYing some pots to put them in, because there is no way I'm paying $7 for a little basket. I love these little rugs at IKEA. That's what I used to upholster that bench in one of my thrift flip videos. And I think this would make a great pillow cover for Ryan's room. So I think I'm going to pick up one of these and we'll DIY a pillow in a future video. Now we are back home and we need to get back to work. So this table was left by the previous owners. I found it in the attic and it's free. So that's what I am going to be putting in this space. The plan is to paint it white. It is very light and I was able to take it apart so I can move it outside by myself. So I'm going to use my spray gun to paint this. I always paint the bottoms of my pieces first. You want to let it dry thoroughly, then you turn it over and paint the top. In my paint sprayer, I have a mix of the Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the color Linen and Chiffon Cream. When I put chalk paint in my sprayer, I add at least a half a cup of water. You do want to thin out your paint. If it is not spraying correctly, then you probably need to add more water. I wanted the top of the piece to have more coverage than the sprayer was providing, so I decided to brush on a few coats. That way the paint would be nice and thick on the top, and then I could go back and just sand it smooth. I will be lightly distressing all the edges of this piece, and then I'm going to seal it. Then it will be ready to put in the new space. I am so excited to hang this pendant light in my space. However, the color is just a little bit too light wood tone for me. I am going for a darker, more antique look. So I'm going to take the Waverly Antiquing Wax and apply it to this light fixture. It is watered down, which will make it a lot easier to apply. So I'm simply just going to brush it on the entire piece, both the inside and the outside of the light fixture, and that will just darken it up and really make it match better with all the decor in my house. If you wanted it darker, you could apply several coats or just use Waverly Antiquing Wax without any water added to it. All right, all the wood is finally on the walls and all the holes have been caulked. So now it is finally time to paint. My wall color is Sherwin-Williams white duck in an eggshell finish. And all of my trim is Sherwin-Williams Greek Villa in a semi-gloss. This is probably the most asked question that I get. I love the Sherwin-Williams white duck. It is a nice, warm white color. It is not a bright white. So if you're wanting a bright white, I would recommend the Greek Villa. I prefer a warm white in my home. I like the brightness that it gives to my home. However, it still provides that warm, cozy feeling that I am definitely going for in my home. Now, I know all this work is edited down into a nice little video, but I'm not going to lie to y'all. This is a lot of work to cut all this wood, to cut it to size to put on the walls, and then to paint it. The first coat of paint definitely takes a while because that wood just soaks up all the paint. And then every coat after that definitely takes a lot less time. I ended up putting 2 coats of paint on the shiplap. And like I told y'all previously, the bigger the cracks you make, the easier it is to paint them. If your lines and your cracks are very thin, it is harder to get in there with a paintbrush. All right, guys, the walls are painted, the light fixture is hung, and the table is done. I know I'm wearing the same clothes, but it has been 4 days of hard work. And I know this space is looking very white, but when I design a room, I have an overall vision of what I want it to look like, but I always start with what I know 100% sure I want in the room. I knew I wanted these white shiplap walls. I knew I wanted this hanging pendant light from IKEA, and I knew that I wanted to paint this table white and distress it just like my fireplace, because the dining room is right here and I wanted the space to tie in. I also wanted to keep this space very white because my dining room table is natural wood and absolutely beautiful, and I really want that to be the showstopper when you come into my house, and I didn't want this space to take away from that. I just wanted this space to be a pretty accent next to my dining room. So now the bones of this room is done. Now we have some other decisions that we need to make. As you can see, the pendant light is not hanging correctly, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted the pendant light. I don't know what they were thinking when they hung the electrical in the space, but it's not centered to the room. It is actually kind of out into the walkway. So we are going to make it centered where it needs to be, but we kind of wanted to get the space set up before we do that. So we will be fixing that. My husband hung the pendant light. I do not mess with electrical, so I want to thank him. After a 13-hour workday, he came, hung this light for me so it would be ready for this video. Now for the curtains on the windows, I'm pretty sure I don't want to do a drop cloth because I'm having drop cloth in the dining room and in the living room. So I'm thinking here maybe we could do some color or some pattern. But what do y'all think? Should I do straight curtains or should I do some cafe curtains? Since it's kind of in the kitchen, I do love a cafe curtain moment. So let me know what y'all think I should do with the curtains in this space. Now we need to decide on the seating. I have a few different options and we'll see how it looks. So if you remember, I purchased these chairs for a few dollars at the thrift store, and I was kind of thinking that they would work in this space, but now that I have it all together, I just feel like the styles don't match up. So I feel like these chairs are a no. I could also go with the style of chairs that I have in the dining room, a little bit of a more natural wood antique look. The only thing is I feel like they come out a little bit far. This is a walkway, so I'm not positive about that either. I don't want to do built-in seating in the back because I still would love to make this a comfy seating area, and if I come across the perfect chairs at the perfect price, I definitely want to put them here and not have anything built in. But I am thinking about building some cute wooden L-shaped benches to put in the back, something that wouldn't cost a lot of money, but that would look good and be functional, and I could take out and pull apart and use it for something else if I found better chairs to put in here. Whatever I do, it definitely can't cost a lot, because then if it costs a lot, I could have just bought the chairs that I really wanted. So it definitely needs to be a low cost option. At the moment, what I am thinking about doing is building the L-shaped bench that I just talked about, do some cute little throw pillows, and not do any chairs right here. If we want chairs right here, we can just pull one from the dining room. So that's kind of what I am thinking right now, but y'all let me know what y'all think. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. I know this room is not 100% done, and that's why I haven't really been filming house projects, because in my head, I thought that I would get a room 100% beautiful, exactly the way that I want it, and then film it. But that's just not reality. There's no crew here. There's nobody for me to tell my ideas to, and they just make it happen. There's just me making my own dreams come true. And that is totally fine and completely inspiring and empowering, but that just means that it takes a little bit longer for these things to come together. Also, with so many things in the house that needed to be done, I've just been jumping around a lot. But if y'all love this video, I can definitely do more videos like this where we don't totally finish a space. We just work on it a little bit, and I think that might even be funner, because then y'all can give me y'all input on other things that I can then put in the room. So once again, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video, and I hope y'all were inspired to just get up and get those projects done. Y'all have a great day, and I will see y'all in the next video.